was blind, but now I can see.
Yeah, calisthenics number 12. Yeah. Fly robotics. Bifocals, my only purpose is to feed the locals. I'm spreading love when I see you and gotta approach you. I see the goodness in you, I wouldn't John with you. I know you hustling for your family just to pay the fiscal. I see the God up in you, you bless your physical. While we navigating problems, the world is abysmal. Skip the one up, let's get it to the center. Your house is big as mine, we can always help each other. Affirmation smother, it ain't even cost me a dime to uplift my brother.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back on this Tuesday night to Vulnerability is the New Sexy. I'm your man, Joe Corley, black male therapist. Got some brothers with me tonight. I'm going to introduce them and we're going to get right to it. Got my brother Walter up here in the orange. He's going to add his perspective to things. Y'all know Big Mike already. He stayed with me. You know, I got him prepped and prepared for this show, man. Got everything he wanted on his rider. You know, red Kool-Aid on, red Kool-Aid only. That's what he said. And I got and y'all listen to the intro once again, man. I got my brother Q with me, man. You know, follow him, get that music, man. As y'all can see, had me rocking in the intro, man. Y'all couldn't see me, but if he was off screen, I'm nodding my head, man, because music go hard every time. And listen, tonight, man, we want to welcome y'all to the space again, man. Vulnerability is the new sexy, man. We're trying to make it safe for black men to express their emotions. Let them know that the most masculine thing you can do is be vulnerable and talk about what we need to talk about. And today I was inspired to talk about why black men don't ask for help and what it looks like when we suppress an emotions and how that shows up in us. I'm going to kick it off with a little video. Seen Brother DeVal Ellis on some podcast. I really want to give her credit, so I'll try to get the name of that podcast before the end of the show. He was talking about, you know, the pressures and emotions of being a black man and what he's got to hold on to. So I'm gonna play one or two clips from that, but I'm gonna play one right now, and then we'll come back and talk about it on the other side.
Into my senior year, my father was working for Chase Bank forever. My father always kept multiple jobs. He used to bounce work at Chase Bank. He would sell jewelry. My father did everything to provide for his family. I remember my father came home one day and said, I got laid off. I was like, hello, like, you the man of the house. What you mean you got laid off? He said, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. I got some, because my father always plans. And I said, if my father could go through that, and he had 3 kids, one going to college, you know, my sister was in private school. I said, all I have now is a fiance. And I thought about how I was raised. And I watched my grandfather get up every morning and go to work. Then I watched my father push through. So I said, fuck it. I'm gonna just put my head down and just create. And that's all I did was create.
Listen, man, Mike, let me ask you, man, when you hear that, brother, that put your head down and push through mentality, what are your initial thoughts when you hear that mindset? I know that's you. I know that's you.
No, that ain't me.
Somebody, we got them dogs going, man. Go ahead, mute yourself, man.
But now, regarding the question, man, I relate to that 100%. It's just one of those things, man, that you just taught as a man that whatever come up, push through, get laid off, go out there and get another hustle, you know, whatever the case may be, do what you got to do to make it through it. As he was describing, like his dad, how he had all these jobs, I was like, dang, that sounds just like me. I keep a side hustle, you know what I mean? Just in case some pop up. I have something else, you know, a plan B to fall back on. So, man, I relate to that big time.
Yeah, yes, sir. Me too, man. Me too, man. I oftentimes, you know, I don't even bother to voice what I'm dealing with, or in the past, especially. It's rather like, because my mindset most of the time is, who really wants to listen to it anyway? You know what I mean? Like, you can, it starts to sound like complaining, and I don't even know. No one's even have to tell me that. I get sick of hearing myself. You know, I'm like, man, I just sound like I'm complaining, man. Because at the end of the day, you know, you got to get it done. And that's,
Yeah, no matter what, you gotta
they
get it
say,
done.
the end of the day got to end, is what they say.
That's
Q,
it.
man, you got any, you relate to that situation at all?
Oh yeah, man. You know how it is, man. We got to be the providers and the protectors. So you always got to keep some, like piggyback off what Mike said. Like always got to keep a side hustle, man. Because jobs don't really care about you. So keep something. Like me, I make clothes. I call myself a part-time entrepreneur, but you got to keep something in the tuck, man. You have to, because you're going like regardless, your kids gonna always need to eat. So they
Yeah,
don't care. They don't care that you got laid off. Where the food at?
Where is
yeah,
it at?
yeah. You ever been laid off?
Oh yeah, man. I worked at this place in Minnesota called Fabcom. Man, it was a concrete company. They make like the walls for Walmart and Amazon and all of that. And so every winter we got laid off around December, right? Excuse me, right before Christmas, and then we'll get unemployment up until March, and then come back to work. But it was a great job. But yeah, every winter we was getting laid off.
Yeah, man. I was genuinely, genuinely or generally like a pretty stable guy for the most part of my life. And then I think when I was in my late 20s, I got laid off, and it was right when my son was born, my youngest son, and that really sent me spiraling, man. Like I mean, it would be the genesis of my mental health journey. Honestly, I didn't know it at the
Mm.
time because I didn't go get no help, but I went into a deep, deep depression, man. Because I was like, I got a son coming, I got one already. I mean, my wife, and I didn't have any idea how I was gonna provide for them, bro. And I was really, really lost, man. And I didn't. It was just I didn't. You couldn't even really console me, you know.
Hmm.
And my wife honestly was holding it down, and crazy as it, that made me feel worse. You know what I mean? Like we didn't struggle, we didn't miss no meals or none of that. She held it down completely. But watching her do that, bro, that was really difficult. And rather than like say that to her and talk to her like, "Yo, man, I'm struggling, I'm mentally struggling." I just held it inside and kept it to myself, and it really eroded our relationship for a while, and almost cost me my marriage, man. Because I didn't know I had the tools to like speak to her. I wasn't as emotionally involved as I am now. All I knew was, I was about 2 years into my marriage, and all I knew was, if I don't provide for her, then society says I'm not a man. So right now I'm not a man. Um, but Walt, man, let me jump you in here, man. When you see that, you have any initial reactions? I know you have feelings about this type of stuff.
Well, I had some pretty good examples, I guess, growing up of what a man's supposed to do in the house, I guess, traditionally. Um, but I think while I drew a lot from that, at the same time, I kind of back up from it too, because we often forget about ourselves. I understand exactly what Q was saying about, when the kids are like, where's the food? Like you have to provide the food, but at the same time, a lot of times we forget to take care of ourselves in that um, dynamic of being providers, being protectors. Like we were raised to think we don't need protection, like because we are the protectors.
We
But
are protected.
time we do need protection sometimes in a safe place to if it's nothing but vent about the stresses of being a provider and a protector. I think that gets lost sometimes on us.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
When speaking of that, let me follow you up with something, man. When do you feel like you realized and understood that you did need to put forth effort to take care of yourself? When do you feel like you got that understanding?
It was late in life. I had to go through a whole lot of other things to get to a place where I respected me and my body enough to understand that I needed to recharge it sometimes. Um, I was probably 31 or 32 before,
Mm.
I really was like, I really need to look out for my mental, my mental health and emotional health. So
Yeah. 31 to 32, sound like you figured it out early.
Yeah, real early.
Yeah, that's real early.
Yeah, man.
it took a lot. I went through a lot to get there. So
Yeah, man. You had some challenges in
Yeah.
your life, man. I went through a lot too, bro. I still didn't figure out that I needed to take care of myself till I was
Mm-mm.
almost 40, bro. What about you, Mike? I know you just really got into that journey, man. When you figure out
Man,
it, oh, it's okay for me to take care of myself.
yeah, man, this just happened in the last 3 years or so.
Yeah,
That I learned that I mean it wasn't voluntarily, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh COVID happened, my salary got cut 50%, and then uh, a decision that I made uh previous to that about my mother, when she was in the hospital, I didn't consult with anyone else in the family, and I went ahead and gave the doctors the go ahead to do a procedure on her, and it didn't the procedure didn't go as it should have, and as a result my mother lost the usage of her left arm. Man, that tore me up because I'm supposed to be the protector, right? And here I
yeah.
am making decisions that permanently altered my mother. And so that was the first time in my life that I had ever felt like I was facing a problem that I could not solve.
Hmm.
And because I couldn't fix that problem, that's what got to me. That's what sent me into this whole depression thing. You know what I mean? So that, along with, everything that happened in COVID, man, it just kind of put me in this little funk where you know how we are, man. We feel like we just down for a minute. We feel like at any moment we can just pull out of it. You know what I'm saying? And it was just one of those cases where I wasn't able to do it. I thought I was treading water, just gonna get out of it. But my wife noticed that shit. I was drowning. I was up on that third finger, you know what I'm saying? I had to come up out the water and go back down. And she recognized it and she did what she had to do and made me go to therapy, man. And that's when that process began. I started learning, hey, I need to start taking care of myself mentally, physically, emotionally, because all that affects everything around me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
if I can't be good for myself, I can't be good for nobody else. So
right.
man.
that's
Bro. You made me think of something I want to share with the crowd. I mean, listen, if y'all out there, you listening, y'all got questions for this panel for these brothers, man. Please throw it in the chat. We try to address the ones we can address. We want everybody to be able to be vulnerable in this space. Sisters, if y'all got some questions, please ask them. But Mike made me think of some. Most of my black male clients that come into me come in because their women pushed them in, right? My wife said I need to be here. I don't know how many times. If I could charge double for every time I heard that, I could retire, bro. My wife said I need to be here. And I
yeah.
know y'all brothers, all y'all brothers, good enough to know how y'all feel about your wives, man. Why can't we talk to our wives, man? Like, why is that not enough? Or maybe it is for y'all, but I know we talk to them, but it ain't enough to like get over some of these mental hurdles. Q, how you feel about that, man?
I think, so like Mike was saying, I went to therapy, and you know, this Dr. Lindor, what I'm saying, she helped me a lot. She said something like that was profound to me, that it's not your wife's job to fix you, and it's not your job to fix her. Like, you got to do that on your own. So while talking to your wife about your problems is great. And, no disrespect to any woman, but, sometimes they might use it against you in the long run. So sometimes it's okay to let go everything. But for the most part, she want to see you strong. So I think that's like the stigma about like really talking to your wife about your deep, deep feelings. And that's why I think for the most part, you need therapy. You talk to a stranger, they don't even know you, and they can help you with your stuff. Because like I said, it's not her job to fix you. It's not your job to
Right,
fix her. Y'all
right.
should coexist and help each other. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
without question, man. Even if they don't throw it back in your face or use it against you, man, you kind of always got that fear that it's gonna happen.
Yep.
You know what I
And
mean?
I
Like,
think
Yeah,
that's a
for
big part
sure.
of it for us. I think that for me anyway, the things that may be stressing me, could have to do with her. Not that she's stressing me, but just like caring for her, providing for her, making sure
Yes.
that she has everything she needs. And we don't want to go tell that to them. Like that's hard for us because they're looking to us to make sure that these things are taken care of. So, you don't want to look like you're not on your job. Like, and at least me, I don't want to look like that. So
Right.
there's a lot of things that I can talk to my wife about, but some I just choose to not. I think a lot of us just choose not to.
Yeah.
Not that we couldn't,
Right.
I
No,
mean,
no.
I know
Go ahead,
this
Mike.
might sound crazy, but your spouse, your wife's supposed to be your best friend, and you're supposed to be able to tell your best friend anything. But my wife is a worrier, right?
Yeah.
So I by not telling her what I'm going through or what I'm feeling or whatever the case may be, I feel like I'm protecting her because I didn't feel that she could handle the things that I needed to discuss with her if it was how I was feeling, that type of thing, or whatever I was going through. um yeah, this is my way of feeling in the twisted way, like I was protecting her because I didn't think she could handle it, and she was just that would make the situation even worse because now I'm trying to figure it out, and now she's all worried about something that I really don't need her to be that worried about. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like a catch 22, man.
Right. No
So
question.
exactly. So that's why a lot of times I just did not discuss those kind of things with my wife, man. And I'm just learning now how to do that, to allow myself to trust her that she can handle things.
Right.
So yeah.
And not only a warrior, my wife is also a fixer. You know what I mean? So if
Mm,
like if I get to telling her I'm upset about something, she gonna try to fix it. And that's gonna stress me out even more, right?
yes.
Because it's
Yes.
like that's not what I want. I don't
Yes.
want to put more on your shoulder because then I feel, I mean, it is a part of me that is caring for her in that moment, but also I don't know if it's societal pressure or whatever masculinity rules are, but I don't want to feel like less of a. Now I didn't put much. I'm less of a man now. I didn't put
Yeah.
my problems on you plus the problems that you have. We're not supposed to do
Right.
that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yep.
So it just gets deeper and deeper, man. But um, I do want to go into that though, man. Do y'all feel like them? I'm gonna start with you, Walt. Do you feel like societal pressures, man, have kind of dictated how you show up and the things that you reveal inside of your marriage and the way that you express your emotions?
I would say yes because we're conditioned within this society in which we live in a lot of different ways. And I think that our conscience might tell us one thing, but our conditioning tells us something else a lot of times. So for me, I of course living inside of that hyper masculinity thing that is passed down, especially in the black family or the black patriarchy. Like it's difficult to get out from under that, I think, for any of us. So
Yeah,
definitely.
that's what I'm going back to that clip, man. Brother said he saw his father. When I didn't see my father do nothing, but
Right.
but he said he saw his father. You know what I mean? Put his head down and go to work. You know what I mean? I'm like, you breaking down, bro. Like you literally going behind closed doors and crying, man, because you just putting your head down and trying to push through. Meanwhile, you don't know how to have that communication with your wife because you don't want to, you know, have her throw it back in your face or put more on her. I mean, it's intense, man.
Yep.
It's really intense, man. I'm kind of, but I'm gonna go one more clip, man. And we'll come back and talk about it on the other side, man. We'll go to another clip of Brother DeVal talking.
Really be the hardest times because people don't know what it's like to be not just a man, but
Yeah.
you the light in your family.
My God, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's like, yo, Devout, how can I? Devout, can you? And I'm always like, yeah,
Yeah.
because I've always felt like
Yeah.
these blessings that have been given to me are not for me. I have a fiduciary responsibility to provide for everyone around me.
Yeah.
Even when I create.
Mike, I'm gonna let you respond to that, man, because I know I heard you talk specifically about that in the past, man. That whole being the head of everything, man.
Yeah. I'm 48 years old now, man, and I'm just now beginning to figure out exactly who Mike is because all these years I've had to be who everybody else needed me to be for them. So just having everyone to come to you for problems or whatever the case may be, it's like you can't show any weakness because they view as their fixer, right? Just the other week, me and my wife was I received a phone call from a guy who owns one of my previous dogs that I had. And so we had to make some tough decisions regarding that dog. And my wife just got up and left out the room when she heard us talking about it, because I had it on speaker. And then, she didn't speak for a few days, whatever, because she was in her feelings about it. I tried to see if she was okay, and she wasn't. So I gave her time to sit in it. So we discussed it, some few days later, and her response was she was mad at me because she felt like I was going to fix it, and she didn't feel like I fixed the situation. But in reality, I did. I just didn't fix it the way that she wanted me to fix it. Right. So not only do you have stress for people coming to you to fix their problems, you also have the stress on top of that of fixing it so that everyone will approve of what it is that you're fixing for them. You know what I'm saying? So there's that added stress on top of just them coming to you, and you don't want to disappoint nobody, especially one in your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like I spoke previously. My uncle always taught me that, a man is judged by how well his family is doing, how well they're taken care of. How do you provide for your family and everyone that's in it? So ultimately that judgment came down on me. If my family wasn't doing well, or if I wasn't handling the problems that came to me that I need to take care of, that's a reflection on me as a man, as a head of a household, as a son, husband, dad, brother, cousin, whatever the case may be. So you have all these different aspects where it's coming at you, because when people depend on you, you got to show up and show out. And if you don't, you're
Who are
disappointing a
you?
lot of people.
Who are you?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Walt, come in on this, man, because I know you got some dealings with this type of mentality as well, bro.
I'm hard on myself, like in this
Mm,
area.
that part.
And I know that it's a commonality amongst us. I'm going to bring up my uncle, for example. I always looked at him as Superman growing up because he, his thing is work, and he works because that's how he takes care of his family. That's how he shows up and is a man. But I've seen this man work through injury. Like I'm talking about serious, like uh short story. We was carrying a piece of sheet metal one day. I was on one end, he was on the other. The sheet metal, no gloves. Sheet metal slipped through his hand and cut the palm of his hand, all the ligaments in his hand. He finished the job before he went to the hospital, and they had to fly a specialist in to fix his hand. So this is the hyper masculinity, right? That we grow up under. I grew up under. So of course, I look at I got a mosquito bite. I'm itching. I can't, like
Can't
this.
scratch it.
I can't scratch it because I just seen this man, bleeding out, and he finished the
Yeah.
job with him. So yeah, so I think growing up underneath that, and seeing that constantly, it gives us this warped perception of what we are capable of as men. Like we are people, we are humans, like, and we break too, and we break down too. The difference is we don't tell anybody. I think about Eddie Murphy said in Trading Places, Karate Man cry on the inside, right? Like that. Listen,
Yeah.
that's it. We
Yeah.
can't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Straight up, man. Straight up, man.
So
Q, man.
that's the truth.
Got something to add to that, man?
Yeah, man. Like for me, like in my family, I ain't gonna lie. There's a there's a patriarchal society. Like my great grandmother got, I think, 6 daughters, 5 boys, and the women pretty much run our family, tell us what to do, and we go, and if they need something lifted, then we're there. But like for me, I'm like my grandmother is the second oldest, so I'm like the golden child. in the family, but I came to for advice. And I was just telling my wife, like, I ain't gonna lie, like on this couch right here, this is my studio. I sat down and I really like, I was like, forget all the masculine stuff. I broke down in my wife's lap, like, because I was so sick of filling everybody else's cup up and I wasn't getting reciprocated. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, while my wife understood, she's gonna hit me with the speech. Man, buck up, you strong, like, don't worry about that. You got it. You know what I'm saying? It was like I couldn't have that
That moment.
real vulnerable moment. Though she understood me, but it was still like, come on, Bucko, you got it. Get up, strap up them laces. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like my take on it.
Man,
You gotta refill your own cup, man.
every time, bro. You got it, man, bro. You got to refill your own cup, man. That's the kind of the mentality that I've been taking on since I've been doing this healing journey, man. Like, if I'm not gonna go over there, then I have to refill my own cup. You know what I mean? Because even if I do go over there, I might not get my cup filled. She, because it's different, bro. Like, it's different when you're inside of a marriage, man. Like, especially when you've been in it for a long time, man. You pushing them buttons when you start talking about stuff like this. And, it's like, hey, man, I'm feeling this kind of way. Oh, here we go again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Here you go again, man. Just take out the trash. Take out the trash, man. That's all I really needed from you. You know what I mean? But listening to y'all, man, it's like it's the common three things, man. The young black boys are told, man. It's like being a man is being strong. Being a man means not only do you not show weakness, you don't show weak emotions, and you got to take care of everything, no matter how it makes you feel, no matter what, whatever emotions you feeling, how hard it is, how tough you're supposed to take care of it. And if you don't do those things, if you're not strong, if you're showing emotions, and if you're not taking care of everything, any one of them things signifies that you're just not a man.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I seen all y'all nodding your heads. I don't know anybody that didn't grow up like that, bro. Like, for real.
We
No one
all in our
understands.
40s, right? Like, how uh the previous generation before us, like, they like, hey, what you talking about? Therapy,
Yeah,
man. You better go talk to your uncle. Like, what you
yeah,
need?
bro.
Like, you know how they are.
Yeah, man. What's the lesson in that, man? It's like you learned early, bro, that you as a boy, you learn to abandon yourself. Just abandon yourself for the sake of what's considered manhood. You know what I mean? If you can't really take care of yourself and still be considered a man, no matter what you're feeling, bro. But I want to before I move on, I want to answer some of these questions or respond to some of the stuff I'm seeing up in the chat, man. Zara says, "How can we rebuild emotional intimacy together when trust is lost?" Um, I was going to answer that, but Walt, man, you feel like you can answer that? Yeah.
That's a sticky one, man. I mean, that's gonna depend on the dynamic of the relationship that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
From personal experience, in my relationship, when we had some similar issues where we had to rebuild some trust, I found that looking within, or looking in the mirror, I should say, was the key for me. I think a lot of times when these kinds of issues happen, trust issues happen, we look at the other person to make us feel whole again. And sometimes it's up to us, even though that person may have crossed the line that, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes we have to pour ourselves into asking ourselves what part we played in whatever's going on. Like, and for me, in my situation, that helped a whole lot. And it just so happened when I did it, my wife did the same thing, and we were able to sit at the table together and rebuild our trust that way. But it took for each of us to look at self.
Yeah, man. That's I have no qualms with that, man. As the resident therapist, brother, that sounds like emotional intelligence to me.
Mm.
Any I'm gonna move on, man, because I don't know what you. Michael like he, Michael like he don't want to even touch that one.
Man, yeah,
Like he said, trust a sticky thing, man. Trust a
Yeah,
sticky.
trust is big, man. Listen, I'll say this though, like you gotta to rebuild. I've done this, you know what I mean. I've been in the therapy room with couples who have dealt with a loss of trust in many different ways, whether it's, they call it, I think it's financial adultery or something like that, or financial betrayal, or just straight adultery, or whatever it is, man. Trust is lost, and the first thing is getting it out on the table, man. Like really addressing your actual emotions about whatever it is that you're feeling. Like, what is it, the actual thing that betrays you, or you felt betrayed by? Where does that come from? Where have you felt like that in the past? And why does it trigger you the way that it does? So your partner can understand. Sometimes they don't understand. You know what I mean? Sometimes they don't understand what it is that was actually triggering your partner. And sometimes couples don't understand what you're asking the person to do to come back into that relationship after that trust has been burnt down. I always give the home invasion analogy. It's like you you in the home, you sleeping comfy, and somebody comes in right in the middle. You sleep in the middle of the night. Home invasion takes everything, destroys everything, and you go back in there. You asking somebody to go back in the house and go back to sleep, but you ain't changed the locks. You ain't repaired the windows. You didn't do nothing.
same old thing.
Just same old thing. Just go back and go to sleep. No, man, you can't do that, man. You gotta do a lot of
That
different
analogy.
security things. Yeah.
Man, I wasn't gonna touch, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump on it. Jump in here first. So, you have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, right?
Jewelry.
That's the main thing, and that's the hardest part that I think we as men struggle with, being uncomfortable. We don't like being in that, a back up against the wall, having to answer these questions that the wife are throwing at us. The second part of it is you have to have hard conversations. No getting up from you. You can get up, walk away, and come back, but you still got to finish that conversation, man.
You
We
gotta
have to
Every
finish.
time.
we have to learn how to do that. That was a very hard thing for me to learn how to do. So that's the second part, having hard conversations. And then the third part is, man, just you have to allow yourself to become vulnerable to even be able to have those type of conversations with your wife. And we don't like being vulnerable at all, whatever the case may be. But man, you have to have a hard conversation. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and you have to be vulnerable. That's the only way that your wife is going to take you serious and believe what you're saying. Is allowing yourself to be completely vulnerable and allowing yourself to hear whatever it is that she has to say too.
All
And
facts.
yeah, so that, yeah, all those, man, because trust me, I've been through this. Which is why I wasn't gonna touch, but I'm like, man, shit, let me go on and say something, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But yeah, so I had to go through all those steps, man. But when we came out on the other side, it was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Man, it's beautiful. All facts, no fiction, man. I feel that wholeheartedly, man. Um, I want to move to this question here, man, from Pretty Brown. Pretty Brown Mimi says, "What are some things we as women can do to help lighten our husband's partner's emotional load?" Q, brother, you got some. What do you need from your wife, man, when you feeling it?
You know what? I seen like so this is not like from me originally. I seen this today, but it resonated with me. It was a woman, she was saying, sometimes you just gotta be like, well, as a woman, she was saying, hey, my bad, husband, babe, that I upset you. What can I do to, make you not be upset? And then just listen to him. And that's like one of the best things that a woman can do for us. Like if you just take the time to actually listen to what we're saying and not listening so you can rebuttal, but actually just take the time, listen, intake it, dwell on it, think about it, and then, make your response or make your adjustment accordingly. and not just, well, no, but to everything we say. The listening part, I think, is what as men is what we need the most. We need to be listened to, because sometimes we're shut down.
The
Okay, I won't even
quickness.
talk about it no more. Like, all right, bet you didn't even hear me. So, and then it repeats because you didn't listen to what my side of the emotion was.
Yes, yeah, for sure, man.
Um,
Pretty Brown. You gotta go. You gonna ask something to that walk?
yeah, if I could,
Yeah, of course, brother.
I think that our wives have a conditioning just like we have a conditioning, and part of their conditioning is to be argumentative. It's not their fault. It's not like a lot of times, and I see this in our community a lot. Like I've had this conversation with my wife because I've seen it with my mom. I've seen it with my aunts. Like I say right, you say left, and it's like sometimes there's really no rhyme or reason that's what's happening, right? And so, like you were saying, I think their conditioning in many instances tells them to go when what we need is what you were saying is just listen to what I'm saying, but I don't think they can hear us sometimes. And again, I'm going to stress it's conditioning. It's not them being malicious or trying to be difficult. It's just part of the thing that they have to overcome. Like we have to overcome some of our conditioning as Black men. Like
Right. No, 100%, man. And understanding that conditioning is important. Like I was talking about learning not to be weak, and you got to be strong, and and emotions equate to weakness. That same that same little boy grows up into a man who absolutely and wholeheartedly believes that his strength comes from how much shit he can endure. You know what I mean? And how much can I take? Like every single hit, it's like it's making. I'm stronger.
right.
You know.
Right.
Meanwhile, if you take his shirt off, man, them lashes is going. He got all kind of lashes that caught his back, man. It's and it's just not a sustainable mentality, man. Not over the long haul. But let me respond to Pretty Brown myself and say that oftentimes, you know, like Q was saying, we just need somebody to listen. But that doesn't mean that is in the absence or in substitute of you saying what you got to say. It's just sometimes those things can't exist in the same space. People talk for two reasons, either to solve a problem or to vent. First of all, you got to determine which one of them things is happening right now. Most times, most men I know really just want to vent. You know what I mean? Like they want to vent. And if they actually want you to or want a problem solved, they would specifically ask for solutions for them problems. So when I'm venting, I don't necessarily want to hear your solutions. You know what I mean? Even though you may have them, I know that's frustrating for you, you know. But you asking how to lighten the load, that doesn't help lighten the load, right? Just giving me solutions, and now I feel like, it's an attack on that mentality that Walt was talking about, man. Like the way you come up with this mentality, and here you are basically telling me how to be a man. That's tough. That's tough. I know that's rough, but that's really what it is. So make space to hear your man out, hear your partner out. And then if as a man, I still want to know what's bothering you though. You know what I mean? But so make another time or set up another time to talk about what you got going on. Don't do it right on top of me unloading on you, because that's gonna make me feel heavier. That's not gonna lighten my load. But I do want to know what's going on with you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Hey Joe, let me piggyback off that real quick. For
Yeah,
me,
go ahead. Go ahead,
it's
bro.
something me and my wife had discussions on this exact topic. And my thing that I told her was, don't misinterpret what I'm saying as a personal attack on you.
Oh man.
I'm
Come
just
on.
venting. I'm just venting, because when you take it as a personal attack, then I'm gonna start feeling some kind of way, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't even want to talk about it no more.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So just if we are venting, just allow us to do it and don't take it as a personal attack on you, because I guarantee you that's not the way that we mean it, but people interpret things, differently than how you actually intend for it, for them to receive it. So that's a big part of it for me and my wife anyway, and vice versa.
Yeah, because our default response is to shut down, and then we probably not even gonna come back to what
Right.
made us feel like that,
It's over with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then no problem is getting solved.
100%. And then to add, to what we're talking about, first of all, let me say this. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I know that, brothers is completing suicide at a rate like double that of black women. You know what I mean? And it's going up. You know what I mean? Like brothers is, it's like the third leading cause of death amongst black men is suicide, bro. You know what I mean? And it's because of this type of stuff that we're talking about. I know, you look at it like, well, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? What we trying to tell you? You know what I mean? Like we holding all this stuff in, and we don't know where to put it all the time, and we don't know how to express it all the time without associating with weakness. So it just turns into depression. It turns into pain. It turns into struggle. And it makes you feel like less than. And this is why we're having these kind of conversations tonight. So one, brothers can have community. Brothers can find a space where they can feel like, they can let some of this stuff out. And, and then it's some beautiful black women in here that's listening and engaging in what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And that makes me feel like something. I don't know about the rest of y'all brothers, but I mean, that makes me feel like something, man. I like, hey, y'all listening tonight? I like that. I need that. I just want you to hear me. That's all. I just want to tell you I'm hurting. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all. I just want, and I want you to say that's okay. I understand. It don't make you no less of a man. I still hang from the chandelier for you. Whatever you need, baby.
You
Whatever you
silly,
need.
bro.
Whatever you need, man. I might just need some cuddles tonight, man. I might be little spoon tonight. I don't know. I just need some love, baby. That's all I'm trying to tell you. You know what I mean? But let me play another video, man, and we'll talk a little more on the other side, man.
And it's so important because we're emotional beings. And then especially as men, as black men, like, we were taught not to be emotional. And the funny thing is that makes us even more emotional because we don't realize anger is an emotion. You know what I mean? Like lashing out, rage, frustration.
That's the emotion that is acceptable from men.
Like that shouldn't be acceptable. And that's the thing is like being emotionally aware has nothing to do with being soft.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It got nothing to do with being soft. It's like we need to change our relationship to like just the concept of emotion.
Just knowing how
you know what I'm saying?
Feel.
Like you tell a man, if you and a black man is in a heated conversation and you tell him he's being emotional, that might trigger him. You know what I'm saying? And it's
man.
Oh man, Joey Badass throwing jewelry out there. That's
all
jewelry
the time,
right
bro.
there.
All the time.
Yeah.
Man. Definitely the underrated MC in this game, man. Walt, man, I know you got some emotions behind that. You got some response to that little clip we just showed there.
I mean, I think it goes in line with everything we've been talking about tonight. We have a hard way to go as black men. Like, that's it. It's hard. And, we misunderstood. Like, both outside of our culture and inside of our culture, I was watching the show you sent me about the TV dads, right? And the dad on Good Times, like how aggressive and upfront and raw he was throughout the show, and that's kind of the portrayal of the black man, like just like in movies, like the black woman is mad all the time, right? It's the same stereotype that they put us under, but in reality, in our culture, it is that way, but it's perpetuated by us. We do it to ourselves, you know, in the family. It's not on purpose, but it's just kind of what happens. So that's my 2 cents. Yeah, I mean,
man, yeah. No, you're right, brother. And you brought up Mike Smiley. You brought up his GOAT. That's his GOAT father right there. That's
All
the
right,
GOAT,
you
James
cut him.
Evans.
You cut him.
Man,
So cut him.
Yeah, hey, I'm
James
cuddling,
Evans.
man. I'm cuddling.
James
Look,
Evans,
look,
yeah.
look, look. And my wife talking about, man, what? Hey, just get up on that chandelier, baby. I'll be down in a minute.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, man, you're right, brother. Walt, man. I couldn't agree with you more, man. That portrayal or that push out is is what we portraying, man. It's like when you watch your man separating, he's working harder, he's engulfing himself in something or whatever. That's just him seeking out in any way that he could possibly feel like a man of any. I'm good at this one thing. Like for me, I know when I started, my depression was really, really bad. At the time I was coaching. So I would, be looking at videos all the time, deep in them practices, 5, 6, 7 games a week. I'm coaching like 10 teams. Why? Because in the midst of that, I was important. I was important. You know what I mean? And I needed that because I couldn't feel it anywhere else. And I didn't have the tools to tell my wife, like, hey, I'm really struggling. But I didn't, at the time doing that, what am I doing? I'm eroding our relationship because I'm separating from her, making her feel inadequate as a woman. It's all bad, man. It's all bad. It's all bad. Got another question from Pretty Brown. What is a good way to approach our husbands, partners to seek therapy individually and as a couple? Mike,
Threaten them.
threaten them straight up.
Yeah, straight. Hey, that's what
Straight up.
got me, man. That's the only way.
What was the threat? What was the threat, Mike?
Divorce. Are we done? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But there's also a backstory to that. You know, years ago, early on in our marriage, we was just having, issues with the kids and everything. And, my wife suggested therapy. So we went. Me and my wife and, and the kids, therapy. And, I'm sitting there, I'm basically looking like Marshawn Lynch, hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined type thing, you know what I'm saying? And that's the attitude I had. And so the therapist started talking, and something just told me, man, I asked, I said, excuse me, do you have kids? And she was like, no. I'm like, well, what the hell can you tell me then? How can you
Right.
advise me on how to deal with my kids? You don't have kids, you don't have on the job experience. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got up and left. And the therapist tell my wife, like, hey, he'll do better next time. My wife's like, oh, there is no next time. He's not coming back. And I didn't. But my wife, she went a few more times. Fast forward, 3 years ago, she already knew from our first experience how therapy went. So she knew a few things this time. She knew it had to be a man. He had to be black. He had to be married. He had to have kids, and he had to be around my age in order for me to even possibly entertain the idea of sticking through it. And damn it, my wife found a therapist that checked all those boxes and then some. So she knew me well enough to know what I needed and what kind of person I needed to get it from. That's what I can suggest to wives. Find out what your husband needs, what your man needs, and find out his little quirks, what he do, what he don't like, that kind of thing. You should know him well enough to know, hey, what kind of therapist do he need?
Right.
That kind of thing. That's what did it for me, along with the threat. So when she threatened me and we actually go, same routine I'm like, man, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But after a few sessions, I just couldn't deny
Yeah.
him. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
For
so
sure.
that's what did it for me. My wife knew what I needed and how to get the person that I needed to get what she needed from me.
Right.
If that make
100%.
if that make any sense.
No, it make
But
a lot of sense, man.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
complete. That's
I
completely.
know,
Yep.
Yes.
Walt, man. I know you got a slightly different perspective other than the threats.
Um, I mean, it didn't take that from me
Yeah,
because I kind of went to my wife and said, this is what I think I need. You know, we weren't having problems. We had kind of gotten through some problems, and we did that with the help of her going to counseling. We had
hmm
had therapy together. That I'm not going to say it didn't work, but it wound up kind of fizzling out, and our problems continued. So, but after we got through all of that, I started to feel like I needed to talk to somebody. Um,
hmm
and it was surrounded like a lot about what we're talking about tonight. Just feeling like, you know, there was no reason for me to be unhappy or to be having anxiety, but I was having anxiety. And I was like, why am I having this anxiety? So for me, when I told my wife, she helped me, you know, she immediately went online and got me a list of therapists and people to talk to. Joe was in the list. But I kind of saw a need for me to talk to someone,
right.
and my wife was supportive of it when I told her, and she understood. So
Man,
Let me,
that's the most important step right there that a lot of men
Yes.
don't even consider taking. Going
Yeah.
and
Knowing you
admitting
need
that
it.
they need the help. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
let me,
Kudos to you for that.
and let
For
me say
sure.
this, Pretty Brown, Mimi. Both of these answers is correct, and here's what you have a right to as a woman. You have a right to your own feelings, right?
Mhm.
So if you are feeling a certain way because of the way that your husband is showing up, you have a right to tell him that, without criticizing or blaming him. But like, look, I feel whatever it is you feel. I feel discouraged. I feel lonely. And we talking only to men who are in a space where they care about their woman, they love their woman, and don't want to see her in pain. It's a different conversation for a man that don't love you, or don't care about you, or how you feel. So that's all we can speak to. And you saying that you can do kind of what Mike is saying is also, and set that boundary. Like, look, if you're not going to change these behaviors, I'm going to have to do what I need to do to take care of myself, because I can't live like this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then as a man, Mike heard that because he loves his wife and said, okay, I'm gonna do what I got to do reluctantly to make these changes, and it just happened to be, one of the best decisions for him. So that's what I'm telling you. You have a right to your feelings. You have a right to express your feelings, and I advise you to do that when you get an opportunity. Um, yeah,
Oh,
man.
hey, Joe. Let me say something though, real quick. I'm gonna keep it
Yeah,
100
Q.
with you, Pretty Brown. Like as far as couple therapy goes, like individually, you gotta do that yourself. As far as couple therapy goes, you gotta reassure your man that you is not finna tag team on the belittling. He wants to know you ain't found somebody that's gonna tag team whatever belittling you're doing or not doing or whatever. But yeah, he needs to be secure that he'll be able to say what he needs to say and not get beat up for it by both of y'all, whoever the therapist is.
Oh man. Hey man, I went to a couples counselor before with my wife, and we went in there, and she proceeded to tear me up. This is before I was a therapist, right? So I didn't know how it was supposed to go. You know what I mean? And bro, I just, man, after a while, I was already feeling bad about myself going in there.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So she starts to tear me up, and man, I started crying, and I got angry, and I bounced, man. Like I left. I walked straight out, and she eventually sent me a message apologizing. But I mean, that's just not, like that ain't gonna work, bro. I don't need another part. We in here because I'm feeling beat up. I don't need
Right.
I don't need another
You
person to
want-
beat me up. So
right now,
you know
y'all
what I mean?
WWE tag
Yeah.
teaming like nah.
So that's something I remembered wholeheartedly, man, when I moved into the space and started seeing couples myself, bro. I remember I never wanted to make nobody feel like that, man. Everybody has a perspective. Everybody has a right to the way they feel. As long as we can talk about that without attacking and blaming each other. I mean, I always start out by letting them argue, because that's like I like to see how people argue. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, y'all dirty. Oh, y'all
Wow.
fight dirty. Okay. You go well, you go below the belt with your hits. All right. So now I know that. Okay. Well, here's the problem, man. You talking about his mama ugly and his His, his side baby got, 3 legs. I mean, all these things that you talking about, you know what I mean? Like that ain't helpful. What you stay for if you felt all like that about it? All right, man. But I want to give y'all brothers an opportunity, man. I know we winding down to the end, man. I want to give y'all brothers an opportunity to, kind of give some parting words for brothers out there suppressing emotion, and not asking for help. And I also want you to address the partners of those men, and give them just any advice or anything that you feel like is necessary for them to know, because they struggling too to try to keep up with their men. Big Mike, go ahead, man.
Let me first address the part where the woman with her, what she can do to help her husband. I think, well, I'm not going to speak for all men. I'm going to say majority. It's going to take work, and the man, it's very important that you get your man to understand, believe, and know that you are going to be there to do the work with him, do the work alongside him, not just him. You know, that you're gonna be there by his side to help him through it, because it's gonna get hard, it's gonna get tough, it's gonna get ugly, it's gonna get bad. But he needs to be reassured that through all that, you are still gonna be there right there with him to help work through that. That's the most important thing. Because that was the thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Don't just get me in this therapy, then you just leave me here hanging, and they just, my wife was like, I'm gonna be right there with you. We're gonna go through this together because it's gonna help both of us. And that made the world of difference for me. Regarding the keeping things in, I will say for me, a big part of that was because I just didn't trust people. People come to me for help, but the few times that I did ask other people for help, they didn't come through for me. So I just stopped asking altogether. We as men need to learn how to trust people and ask for help. I know we struggle with it. I know I struggle with it still today, but I'm slowly learning how to ask for help, and that it's okay to ask for help, because when I do that, that's relieving some of the stress, and it make me a much more enjoyable person to be around. Because when you hold it in, it's gonna come out one way or the other, good or bad.
Yep.
One eye opener for me was my grandson was like, "Dang, pops, you always mad. What you mad about now?"
Mhm.
Now that's a lot coming from an 8-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And so it really hits different to hear a child say that, because that means that you have really been showing your ass in front of them a
Right.
lot, and it just be there for you, man, be there for your husband, your spouse, whatever the case may be, and let them know that you are going to be there with them through it, and that it's okay for them to be vulnerable, because if they don't feel like they can be vulnerable with you, who can they be vulnerable with?
Right.
You're the partner.
Right.
So
Right.
once you allow them to do that, and from the very first moment that they trust you enough to be vulnerable with you, love on them from that. Love on that. Keep telling them it's okay to be that way. You're not seeing them any different, because my wife think I am a lot sexier now that I express myself and I don't hold things in, and I share things with her, because as men we're not emotionally intelligent like that. So when we share those type of deep emotions with women, it draws them even closer to you, right? It took me a long time to learn that, and now that I'm learning that, I have to learn how to accept that also. So it's all a learning process. But women, just be understanding, especially when they come to you, and if they are broken, try to be there with them to help lift them up. That's really all a man needs is just knowing that his partner is there for him, and then in the times that they need it, you're gonna be there for them.
Yep.
Appreciate that, Big Mike.
So
Brother Walt, man.
Yeah.
What say you? What say you, Brother Walt?
I think listening is key. And like you said, Joe, knowing when to hold them and when to fold them. You know, sometimes
Mhm.
we just want to vent, and you know, knowing the difference between a vent and asking for your help is important, because you know, like you said, you start offering solutions, and we as men start to take that as an insult, because I didn't like, are you, let me do it, but listen to me at the same time.
Mm.
So I think that kind of gets lost in translation sometimes. And because of our conditioning as men, our wives see us behave underneath this, you know, this armor of being a superhero, and they really start to believe that's who we are, right? Like, okay, he can handle it,
Yeah.
he'll be okay. So just
Mhm.
recognize that, you know, we are people too, and even though we may go hard in the paint for y'all, like
Mm.
we sometimes we need a recharge, we need to be on the bench for a minute, you know, getting the rub down or something. And like Joe said, sometimes we want to be the little spoon. Sometimes we need to be the little spoon. Like, and that's okay. You know, that should be okay with us and with them.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, little spoon brothers. Yeah, little spoon brothers unite.
See,
Yeah, let's.
rub my back and take advantage of me. Shit, let's get
Right, right.
Mike, you wow.
Hey, brother
Oh
Q,
shit.
man, what say you, brother? Oh, here we go. Here we go.
So I'm gonna say, like, the highest form of love is understanding, right?
Mm.
So to the ladies, if you really love your man, you will take the time to understand him and see him for the person he is, and not the person you visualized him to be or
Oh
trying to
wow.
make him be. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the very first part. You gotta understand who you with. And if you love that person and you can understand them, then you can actually take further steps in your relationship, and have longevity. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that, bro. That's pretty much all I get, man. Like, understand who you with, and try to understand, and work hard at understanding who you with, because that's the highest form of love.
Right, right. Hey, and I'm gonna take what Q said a little further, man. When you talking about understanding, think about the things that I addressed earlier in the pod about, what young black boys is told about what it means to be a man. You got to be strong, and you can't show weakness or show weak emotions, and how being a man is basically taking care of everyone regardless of how you feel, right? So these are the things that are implanted in your man. So when you go into the situation and you want him to be more vulnerable, you got to understand how much history you up against
Mm.
first, and that's not fair to
Yeah.
you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that to you ladies. It's not fair to you, but it's reality, right? Because life just ain't fair, and that's one of the things that we have to unpack. You know what I mean? You have to get to a space where your man is wants to know and understand that before he is a man, he is a human. Because these things that we come up learning, like I said, are leading to increased rates of suicide for our black men. I mean, it's skyrocketing because of the things that we believe about what manhood is and what weakness looks like. And so instead of allowing for your man to be, you got to be strong. What does being a human look like? You know what I mean? It means that we all struggle. Bro. We all got problems. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter, and these things are going to happen, and sometimes it's a little heavy on us. It doesn't make us less of a man if it's heavy on us. You know what I mean? It's not if if we talking about our emotions, that's not weakness. That's us
Mm.
trying to process our emotions, because we got a full range of emotions. I mean, when we get sad too, you know what I mean? We not It comes out as anger, but anger is just a secondary emotion. So your man is sitting there getting angry. You're looking at a man that's probably afraid. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's not getting better out here. You know what I mean? Now $1,000 is looking like 100. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You
Right.
know, that's
Swear,
that's
I swear.
that's that's scary to brothers, man. Because we always we've been told, like I told you, like we got to take care of everything, even if that's not true. Doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Right, right.
That's what we've been implanted in our brain, bro. So instead of knowing and understanding that taking care of everyone starts with taking care of yourself so you can have the ability to take care of everyone else, man. You know? And that's what I want to impart on the brothers, man, and ladies, you know what I mean? That is looking out for the brothers, whoever your partner is, you know what I mean? And it wasn't until therapy that I understood that it takes a process to unlearn all of these negative beliefs.
Mm.
You got to unlearn that stuff, bro. You got to unlearn
Yeah.
it. And it's not, you talking something, plus you talking guys in their, late 30s, early 40s. I mean, it'd be nice if we was all like Walt and figured it out at 31, you know what I mean? But for the rest of us, bro, that's a lot of unlearning to do around masculinity and what manhood is. And you know, we out here right now looking at you in the face and telling you that we just learning how to embrace being humans and being men all at the same time.
Yeah. You gotta
Listen,
understand that masculine energy is not a bad thing. That's why it's the direct opposite of feminine energy. So don't put feminine energy into the room if you can't take the masculine energy, and know that that's a good thing. You should have both, yin and yang.
yeah. Sorry, I just saw this. I'm about to close out, but I'll try to get these resources available for the next show. We out here every Tuesday, y'all. Which is up, but I'm always here Tuesdays at the same time. I really want y'all to, find me on social medias. And I do want to talk about my brother Q. I think he got an album coming out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I definitely want to spend time. Give him a second to talk about that.
For sure. Yeah, man. If y'all up at 12 a.m., it's coming out. But if not, listen to me in the morning. It's on all streaming platforms. It's called Authentic Intelligence. Fly Robotics, FLYROBOTICS on everything. You can find me. Yeah, check me out, man. It's real grown man music. Ain't no killing and dealing in there. Like, I talk about a couple personal things, but most of all, I'm trying to help brothers be brothers and know that, it's okay. Like I said in the song, it's okay to tell your brother you love him. You're not soft because of that. Like emotions are involuntary. So we all got them. Use them. It's how we use them is the problem. But yeah, like it's real grown man music. It's long though. It's 20 songs, but give me a try and you might get through the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Authentic Intelligence, man. The brother, grown man music, but he put the young boy twist on it with the double album type and one album type thing. It's all good.
Old school.
Hey,
Yes,
you brothers,
sir.
any of you other brothers got anything y'all want to promote before I close it down? Good, Walt.
I'm good.
I'm good, brother.
All these brothers, these two brothers got all these businesses in between them, but it's all
Mike,
good, man. We'll be back.
Mike, I need one of them hats, man.
We'll be
I
back.
got you,
Man.
brother. I got you.
For sure.
All right, man. That's it, man. Listen, I love y'all, man. Y'all, keep coming back, man. We having really important conversations. I believe in what we're doing, and I think that we doing something important. And looking at the chats today, almost brought tears to my eyes, man, to see how people are impacted by what we got to say. Somebody said to me that people really want to know how black men feel about stuff, and yeah, I mean, I saw a comment about some of the shows be toxic and some not. Listen, there's a show for every type of black man. This ain't that type of black man. This shows for there's other shows for them. For the brothers that want to hear, what I'm saying, all that other stuff. But this ain't where you landed tonight. So y'all have a good night. Like I said, much love to you. I'm working on my outro music, but come again, rewind it to get the intro if that's what you need. All right, y'all have a good night.
All right, peace out.
Peace.